Hello, everyone. This is Geeta Nadkarni, and welcome to today's Masterclass. I'm so excited to have you with me. This is Impact with Influence, how to build a seven-figure empire without the complicated content marketing busy work. Now, these are the strategies that we've used in our own business to help our own clients build out their businesses first to multi-six figures and then on to seven figures. Now, I get it. This probably isn't your first online masterclass or webinar. And I know that there are plenty out there that just ramble on and tell useless stories and don't actually teach you anything. So let's just flip that particular script and dive in and get to the good stuff. Now, I want to be mindful of your time. So here's how to know if my strategies and ideas are going to work for you. This is for entrepreneurs who use their ideas and expertise to create powerful transformations for their clients or those they serve. In other words, authors, coaches, consultants, and service providers like copywriters, web designers, etc., who want to break free of the dollars for hours trap and create a business that they can run from anywhere and on their own terms. Now, I just want to be really clear. This is not about creating some lame-o online course and trying to make quote-unquote passive income. This is about truly changing people's lives and making multiple 5 and 6 figures per month doing it, all while working less than you probably are right now. So, if you want to learn how to get your dream clients in at a premium price while creating freedom for yourself, this next 60 minutes will be the best time you've ever invested in learning for your business. I promise. Now, in this masterclass, you are going to learn how to identify the real reasons that you're stuck and why the next course or social platform isn't going to fix it. Trust me, you're probably spinning your wheels because you're fixing the wrong problem. You're also going to learn how to finally fix the disconnect between your marketing, which you're putting out there, and what your ideal clients are willing to pay for. You're going to learn what our most successful clients are doing that's helping them scale their businesses to 6 figures a month and turning their clients into raving fans, get this, because they eliminated so much of the busy work that is probably keeping you stuck. You're also going to learn how to create a steady stream of these high-paying clients without having to spend even more time than you're currently spending on social media, podcasting, blogging, doing SEO, or creating a bunch of tripwires and upsells and downsells and all that marketing BS that nobody really wants to do. We're just going to eliminate probably 80 or 90% of everything that you're doing right now. Because, get this, you're going to learn how you can, quote unquote, borrow audiences of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, for free without having to painstakingly build them first. So here's my promise to you. I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy to create a 7-figure business that actually changes people's lives, even if you're currently struggling to make $10,000 a month. Now, let's be clear. This is not some snake oil get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't some I don't want to do any work and I just want money to fall into my bank account. No fake gurus. You have to actually be really bleeding amazing at what you do or I can't help you. And I just want to be clear, my results and the results I'm going to share here today, because I'm going to share some case studies with you, are anything but typical. These people worked their buns off and they were open to having their sense of possibility rewritten. Now, this piece, this idea of having your sense of possibility being rewritten, it takes an immense amount of courage. And I share their stories as an example of what's possible for you if you commit to your own success and you're open to dropping the hustle, dropping the busy work, and dropping this idea that there is only one way to hit your goal. All right, so tell me if this sounds like you. Does any of this sound familiar? Do you feel like you've hit the ceiling on your income because you can't possibly work any harder and there just is no other way to bring in more cash flow? Are you stuck, unable to scale because what you do feels like it needs to be customized where just nobody else can do what you do? Does it feel like there's a disconnect between what you say you do and what prospects seem to hear, and this is costing you sales that really should be a slam dunk? You talk to an ideal client and it just somehow doesn't turn into a sale? Does it feel like the more quality free content you put out there, the fewer sales you actually make? Do you sometimes feel like you have to choose between a higher income and the client transformations that make you love what you do, kind of like it's a choice between your integrity and money? Are you feeling burnt out? Not just from the hours that you're putting in, but having to constantly convince people, because that's such a draining energy, right? As opposed to just inviting them in and sort of being a gatekeeper where they're begging to work with you. Do you feel spread too thin, constantly distracted and overwhelmed? And do you worry that because you're newer or an unknown player in your space, you'll never be able to compete with more established players? Let me ask you this. Deep down, are you beginning to suspect that your business model might be broken, but you're kind of paralyzed because you have no idea what to replace it with? And after trying everything that you've already tried, are you beginning to get the feeling that the real obstacle to growth in your business might be you? That's good. And I'll tell you why. Because once you have these 5 epiphanies, you'll see why raising your prices is actually going to help you attract the right kinds of clients, the ones who really understand your value and are happy to pay premium prices for what you do. You will see how simplifying your business model and your messaging will help you attract and serve clients who are expecting you to be expensive to work with and are willing to pay your prices. You'll understand how to build massive and instant credibility around what you do so that you can use your competition's marketing budget to scoop up ideal clients. How does that sound? So if you're a newer player, that actually works in your favor. You'll understand why putting out all your best stuff for free, like how all the marketers tell you to do, is actually killing your business by repelling the very clients who are hungriest for what it is you do. And most of all, you will learn to fall in love with the work again and get client testimonials that would make Shakespeare blush. Now, I'm going to really quickly introduce myself so that you know why it's worth learning from me. All right. So I'm Geeta Nadkarni. That's me on your screen. And I got my first paid journalism gig when I was 12 years old. I started writing when I was 10. And over the past 25, 26 years, my work has been featured in the New York Times, Forbes, CBC, CNN, ABC, Reader's Digest. I could go on and on. I've been a contributor to Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Inc., and many more. I am one of the most sought after messaging coaches in the world, and my specialty happens to be helping experts like you turn their superpower into cash flow online so that they can build sustainable, scalable, impactful businesses, thereby creating the freedom for them to pursue self-development in every area of their lives. If you're a lifelong learning junkie like I am, this is going to be pretty exciting for you. Now, I want you to know that I have built my life around love. I am mom to 2 fabulous littles, and we have a strict no phones at the table and no work talk on the weekends policy because my husband works in the business with me. So it's important to have those boundaries. I'm a health nut, and as a family, we take exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness very seriously. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm a huge believer in congruence, and I don't think that anyone should ever take advice from someone whose values don't line up with their own. And I believe very firmly that you attract what you are. And so personal development is a top priority for me at all times. I also want to share with you how it is that I discovered these 5 epiphanies, because I've been telling your stories to the public for more than 25 years. Right? I've been a TV anchor. I've had my own national column on TV, my own radio show across Canada. I've grown up in morning news meetings and interviewed top business people for most of my adult life. And I've realized that there are some things that the uber successful do that make their customers and my senior producers super excited to buy from them, as well as to share their stories with everybody that they know. Now, originally, I had taken all of this information and created a do-it-yourself PR program called Baby Got Booked. It was the absolute best DIY PR program in the world. We had a 96% success rate, which is unheard of in the online course industry, right? Almost everybody who did the work got media. But what I noticed, because I do pay attention, was that not everybody experienced exponential growth in their business from the media that they got. But some of our students had taken our system and were creating 6- and 7-figure businesses in less than 18 months from starting. So I got real curious, and I did what any self-respecting journalist would do. I picked up the phone and I interviewed them to within an inch of their lives, and I basically pumped them for information. And I noticed that there was a clear pattern that emerged. And these are the insights that I'm going to share with you today. These 5 epiphanies that are going to take your online coaching, consulting, or service-based business into the 7-figure club without costing you your sanity, without you having to give up family and freedom and fitness time. All right, so let's just dive right into the first one. Epiphany number 1. I know. You want all the marketing stuff. You want all the strategy, right? High achievers always want the strategy. We want the to-do stuff. We want to keep adding to our to-do list, even though we know that that's keeping us stuck. Like you've seen the results of what that does to you, right? I want you to know that the very first thing you need to know is that your subconscious beliefs are holding you back. And this is true for you, that I can talk. So for example, I can talk about strategy till I'm blue in the face, but if you are self-sabotaging at a deeper level, I can promise you nothing will work. And if it works, it won't work for long. So if you've ever tried things in the past and had them lift momentarily only to come crashing back down, or to find that you didn't know what to do next, then this really, really applies to you. All right. In all of the interviews that I've done with the uber successful over the course of my 25-year career in the media, I can tell you this: they all, without exception, have a mindfulness practice designed to align their subconscious beliefs with their conscious actions. Now, on your screen, you see Sarah Blakely. She is the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. She took a $5,000 investment, her own life savings, $5,000, and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar international company. If you've ever heard of Spanx, right? The shapewear, it's kind of like pantyhose. All women know what Spanx are. So I don't know if you're a guy, maybe you don't know, but it's something that makes you look really sexy sort of under your dress and smooths out any lumps and bumps. She invented them and has turned it into a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, I was fortunate enough to be invited to speak at an event at her lake house with her husband, and I interviewed her. And when we were waiting backstage, she said something really interesting to me. She said, when I meet an entrepreneur, I can tell you within 10 minutes of talking to them whether they're going to succeed or not. And it is not their business that tells me this. It is their relationship to money and the story in their head. It's that mindset piece about success that makes all the difference. You know, it's so funny. Years and years after being an interviewer and a journalist, sometimes you get the most amazing insights when you have access like that to these high-performing individuals backstage. It's like, it's not the stuff they say on stage that's sometimes the most impactful. It's what they kind of tell you in the wings right before you're about to go on. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. And she said something else that really struck me. She says, you attract what you are. And this isn't just metaphysical. This isn't some woo-woo crap. This isn't about vibrations or any of that, although it could be. You can explain it that way as well. This is about how your unconscious biases and expectations color your reality. And most of the people we work with have been around the block. They're course collectors and hard workers. They're always looking for the latest innovation that's going to give them an edge over the others in their space, right? But if you are working 50 plus hours per week and are nowhere near that income goal that you've put up on your vision board or set it in your, goal journal or whatever, and you've tried literally everything that you can think of, chances are you're tangled in one or more limiting beliefs. We have seen this over and over with clients where what they want is right in front of them, but they're just not able to connect with it. They're not able to perceive it. All right. And what this can show up as, it can run deep. It can include money blocks where you have problems with accepting wealth. So if you're trying to step into the premium priced space and you don't deal with this first, good luck. It ain't never going to happen. We have fear of being seen as an imposter syndrome, where you feel like a fraud, fear of being exposed, fear that if you show up as our powerful, shiny selves, that somehow we won't be loved, which is, of course, a fear of success, right? Because you don't want to lose everybody in your life by being successful. And of course, we've all collected a whole bunch of failure stories on our journey as entrepreneurs. So the weight of those can sometimes sap our drive and color our lens to prevent us from seeing opportunity that's right in front of us. And without bringing your subconscious into alignment with your conscious actions, you will stay stuck forever in a pattern of self-sabotage. And frankly, it won't matter what course you buy or tactic you try. Your subconscious will not let you get beyond a certain point. Moving on with the whole theme of you attract what you are, I have to ask you, also to examine, are you leading by example? If you want to attract clients who are decisive, resourceful, and committed to their own success, I want you to ask yourself if that's how you show up when you're investing in your own growth. Because if you have a lack of congruence here and you get pushback from a prospect that you're talking to or someone that you'd like to work with, you will immediately bail. You will immediately bow to that resistance because you don't know in your own life, you don't have the congruence to know exactly why it's a good idea to push past that resistance or how to push past that resistance and get to where you want to get. So to sum up, your subconscious has been recording these stories since before you were born. If you've been struggling, then that's a reflection of a program that's holding you back. And it is showing up in the way that you act, the meaning that you make when things go a certain way, because, you're always receiving signs from the universe, so to speak. And what meaning you make from that is colored by your subconscious thoughts. And of course, you're going to, when your reactions and your actions and the meaning you make are colored this way, the results that you're getting in your business will reflect that too. If you subconsciously believe that you are not meant to succeed or that charging a premium rate is somehow a compromise of your integrity, then you will pick up the cues that lead you to confirm that bias. Pretty simple, right? So you absolutely need to have a success mindset and an actual system for dealing with fear, doubt, and freakouts. You need both these things. So just let me be clear. You need both support to rewrite, to surface those subconscious beliefs and then rewrite them, as well as a plan to then use the energy that's been liberated. So once you rewrite these subconscious beliefs, all this energy that you're using that's keeping you stuck, that's kind of like bouncing back and forth inside you where you're not able to free it up, once you rewrite those beliefs, that energy will become available. That is when the strategies land with you. That's when they land. You hear them differently, you perceive them differently, and that's when things take off. And that brings us to epiphany number 2, which is once you've dealt with your subconscious blocks, we want you to sell what you actually do. Now, most people get stuck with their income because they're focused on selling the wrong thing. And this is particularly true of experts because we get very attached to our information and expertise and our process. The world's most profitable businesses put the client front and center, not the process or the product or the stuff or anything else. So you're probably wondering at this point, how on earth do you choose the structure or business model of a business that allows you to make millions while putting your clients' needs first? Now, the good news is that this happens to be the cure to shiny object syndrome as well, which is awesome for us high achieving types because our favorite way to hide from a lack of clarity is to get busy, right? You just descend right into busy work. You put more things on your to-do list. You work even harder and faster than you thought was possible. You kind of oscillate between regular overwork and extreme overwork, even though it doesn't get you results. All right? So here's the opposite of that. Here's what the opposite looks like. You start by having crystal clarity around the outcomes that you deliver to your clients. Because when you're clear about where your client is going to end up, it gives you a lens with which to evaluate all the gazillions of ideas that you might have for how to get your client there. Right? Makes sense? Clarity serves another purpose as well. So let me ask you this. Are you struggling with any of these? So let me show you, not tell you, right? You believe maybe that you already charge on the high end of your market and that clients either can't or they won't pay more. Maybe the way that you say what you do isn't connecting with clients in a way that makes them excited to work with you. Does this sound like you? You have no idea how to articulate what makes you different from your competitors. Maybe you have a complicated assortment of offers that confuses clients, and confused people never buy. And maybe you've built a complicated funnel that requires a ton of content marketing to monetize, right? Every mini product, every tripwire and upsell and downsell requires its own content to monetize it. Now, this is all good news. If any of this sounds like you, take a deep breath. That's good, right? Because these all seem like separate issues, but they are all actually symptoms of the same problem. It is a lack of clarity about what you really do for your clients. Now, most people make the mistake of thinking that they'll start attracting the right clients when they fix their marketing. But let me tell you this, if you want to charge thousands of dollars for what you do, your messaging, not your marketing, your messaging starts with a deep dive into getting clear around how you actually change your clients' lives. Okay, write that down. It's a deep dive into getting clear about how you actually change your clients' lives. Because no amount of clever marketing, write this down too, no amount of clever marketing will grow your business if it is fundamentally superficial. If you've got a surface level business that's got very surface level outcomes, you can't charge a high ticket for it. You just cannot charge premium prices for it. You're going to be stuck competing on price, or you're going to get all the tire kickers and the bargain hunters and the dabblers. All right. So what happens when you get clarity on this deep outcome is that you attract decisive, resourceful clients who are committed to transformation. You are able to raise your prices significantly and overnight, no kidding, because you are selling something so much more valuable than just information. You're able to move folks from the explore, I want to date you, I want to get to know more about you, I want to think about it, etc., from explore to buy much more quickly and efficiently. The selling process itself becomes smoother and more client-focused. I mean, we've taught people how to close $25,000 and $50,000 deals on a single phone call because selling has become a true act of service. All right? And that brings us to epiphany number 3. And this is going to require you to release certain deeply held thought patterns, those limiting beliefs. Watch me bring them all up so that you're gonna start to feel a lot of resistance to this one. Ready? Premium is actually easier to sell. I know it seems totally counterintuitive, especially if you feel like you're already on the high end or you're facing a lot of price resistance from your prospects. But listen carefully and take notes for this part, because this epiphany requires you to release some of the thinking, those limiting beliefs we talked about, subconscious beliefs that may have brought you to where you are, but are not serving to take you any further. All right. And typically it shows up like this. If you're not already selling at a premium price, it's because of one or more of the following reasons. 1, you don't believe that anyone's going to pay several $1,000s to work with you because your expertise isn't worth it. Or you know your expertise is worth it, but you have no idea where to find the clients who would be willing to pay those high prices. So let's break this down. Let's talk about that first issue. Maybe you don't believe that your expertise is worth the high premium. Here's the deal. When you make the leap into selling high ticket, you are no longer selling your time. You are not selling your knowledge or your expertise. You are not selling any of those things. In fact, what you are selling is an outcome, a result, and therefore you are pricing your services accordingly. Premium pricing attracts players who are serious, who are committed, and who genuinely want to be transformed. And guess what? These make for really fun clients. They give you referrals, they tell all their friends, they get results, they give you wicked testimonials. That's what you want more of in your business. Because buying the best, by the way, feels really good, and people value what they buy more. People who invest at a premium get better results than the people who don't. Think about yourself, right? How many free things have you downloaded off the internet? How many lead magnets and PDF this and $7 that have you purchased that you have never opened, never acted on, never sort of, maybe you've opened them up, maybe you've started to implement, but the moment resistance shows up or you feel like you're a little bit lost, you just abandon it, right? Now, if you had paid a whole bunch more money for that, wouldn't you feel invested to continue? Same deal. That's why. And obviously, you as the service provider, as the business owner, would be able to show up with more resources and less stress when somebody is paying you $5,000 rather than $150. Think about that. When you're less stressed, aren't you able to show up more fully for your clients, listen to them more clearly, design things with deeper clarity because all your bandwidth isn't eaten up by, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bills, right? Right, exactly. So here's what premium looks like. First, you can actually show up and guide and mentor your clients through that transformation. You can hire staff. That is right. You don't have to do everything by yourself because, my friends, you can pay to bring in experts to, again, enhance the quality of your offering. You can create a premium VIP experience that will ensure folks actually stay on track and that the right kinds of clients, the ones who are focused on outcomes, will love and are happy to pay a premium for because they want results. And I want to be crystal clear about one other thing, and you want to write this down. Ready? Premium doesn't have to be one-on-one. This is a big mindset trap that a lot of coaches and consultants fall into. Even if you believe that your work is very high touch and requires personalized attention, trust me, this is a limiting belief. We have helped many, 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 many entrepreneurs just like you get really past this. They're making 6 figures a month right now, and their clients freaking adore them. There is a way to structure your content so that 80% of what your clients go through with each and every client or what you take each and every client through is automated and systematized. This actually makes for a better client experience because it's more consistent. The 20% that is your true magic, that you deliver live a few times a week. And again, when you're making more money per client, you can afford better staff and systems, and you don't have to do everything alone or make everything up as you go. So here's the bottom line. When you can build enough confidence and belief in your ability to get clients to the outcomes they desire, your price really just becomes a number that you choose. Truthfully, and you might want to write this down, it is already a number that you've chosen. And it's a number that reflects either your confidence in your ability to deliver an outcome or your lack of ability to correctly communicate that outcome. Write that down. It's either your confidence, this is the number that you've chosen, and it reflects your confidence in your ability to deliver an outcome or your lack of ability to correctly communicate that outcome. And when you learn to communicate your value in a way that lights people up and you bring that to an audience that someone else has built, here's what happens. Just to give you a little case study. This is Stephen Kuhn. Okay, he's ex-military. Stephen is one of the world's leading turnaround consultants. And what that means is he helps failing companies all over the world become instantly profitable. He's amazing at what he does. Now, offline, Stephen had many incredible jobs back in the day, including being, get this, Mick Jagger's bodyguard, as well as being a consultant to stars like Olivia Newton-John, Andrea Bocelli, the opera singer, various political figures whose names you'd recognize. Now, the problem, though, is that offline, over 20 years, Stephen, had made a very, very comfortable living, but he was stuck somewhere around the 5 figures a month mark, right? It's like $10,000, $15,000. Now, when he had little children, he decided he wanted to scale and go online. And he wanted to cut down travel. He was traveling 4 days a week prior to being online. So when he was in his offline business, he was traveling 4 days a week. But now he ran into an impasse. How was he going to get to his goal at the time of $50,000 a month without going back to his punishing travel schedule that would take him away from his family? Now, when he came to an epiphany session with me, he told me, I need to grow my online presence. So this is the problem that Stephen was trying to fix. And again, like I said, 90% of the people we speak to are trying to fix the wrong problem. That is part of it's one of the core reasons why they're stuck. Luckily, I did not take him at his word. I knew what questions to ask him. And we quickly realized that Stephen's real challenge was monetizing his online presence effectively. Now, we worked with him, as we do with all our clients, through his mindset issues, and we gave him a selling process that he was able to implement immediately. I mean, literally, he made $16,000 on day 2 of our program. So just so you know, you can use this very quickly. You don't have to stay stuck, and this doesn't have to be years of therapy or anything like that. You can rewrite your subconscious beliefs very quickly, and with our systems to then use that energy that's been freed up, well, you've got a taste of those results. So to remind you, when he had come to our call, he was stuck somewhere around the 10K per month mark, and it was taking up all of his time and resources. He was marketing his buns off. This man worked so hard. I mean, he's very disciplined. He's ex-military, right? He's just working and working. He's doing Facebook Lives up the wazoo. He's putting out all this content, and he was mad because he was just like, nobody buys anything, and I'm working so hard, and what the hell, and I'm giving them amazing content, and it's just not working. And about 4 weeks into our program, we shot this video with Steven. So I'm going to let him tell you in his own words.
yeah, you're right. You're right. I do need to take action, and I do need to make it happen. So I did it, and it was
And
uncomfortable.
you proved my point. I just want to point
Yeah,
out, day two, you made $16,000
yeah, yeah.
and
That
you
was
haven't
amazing.
stopped.
Nope. I'm up to 45K after 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah.
49K after
That's
4 weeks.
true. It's as he said, right? 7 weeks into our program, he had closed $92,000 in sales and had another 65 grand lined up over the following 3 weeks. And exactly 8 weeks after he joined our program, having hit the $100,000 mark, he signed papers on his dream home. Not any home, his dream home. And this is a goal that we had talked about during our Epiphany session. So this was something that he had promised his wife 5 years prior, that he had been struggling and struggling and working and working and working. And no matter how hard he worked, it felt like he got more and more distant from his goal. And his wife was getting really fed up with him. So when he just made the decision to join us, it was a really, really fraught, really scary decision. But it's so interesting now because Steven's wife loves us. She loves me. And you're doing something right when, you charge a premium price, and instead of giving them a hard time, your clients' spouses congratulate them on the decision they made and actually love you. So that's a lovely side effect of being amazing at what you do, creating the right kinds of transformations, designing your business around the right transformations, is that not only do your clients love you, but their wives do too. So to summarize, what we helped shift for Stephen were just 3 simple things. We removed his subconscious blocks to success. We gave him a solid plan to package his services. And we helped him create a selling structure to sell online, over the phone, from stage, from podcasts, etc. All right. So now you can literally turn every conversation that you have with an ideal prospect into a sale. And that brings us to epiphany number 4, because you want to line up those prospects and you want to get to where the prospects are already playing, right? You want to hack audiences that somebody else has already built. Now, if you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, chances are you fall into one of 3 camps when it comes to social media. Camp number 1, you're spending hours and hours and hours of unpaid time posting and hoping that some of those followers turn into traffic. This is exactly where Stephen was stuck, by the way. Or you're paralyzed because you don't have the bandwidth to do all of that. And so you're basically not marketing yourself much at all because you have no idea what's going to actually take. Or you've been dabbling with paid advertising and you've realized that it is neither as easy or inexpensive as the gurus make it sound. Been there, done that, right? I recently heard from someone who admitted that she had more than 19 million views on YouTube, but had trouble monetizing her channel beyond the paltry, we're talking a couple $100 a month, ad revenue that she was generating from YouTube because, and I quote, people are just used to free stuff. And the more free stuff, the more quote unquote, the best stuff that you give out for free, the more that you do that online, the more that you're actually feeding this and creating more of the same problem. Look, social has its place. I'm not knocking it, but I'll be honest with you. We didn't even use it in any meaningful way until we had made well over 500 grand, which is $500,000 in revenue. And it's not because we don't believe in investing in our business. We absolutely do. But we found a faster, better hack. And that's what I want to share with you right now. So if you feel like you don't have the luxury of slowly, organically building your audience or throwing a bunch of money into Facebook advertising to see what sticks, you're gonna love this. Are you ready? Take your pencil out. Now, why would you spend all that time and money and energy building an audience from scratch on social where every account you start literally starts at 0 followers when you can go to where your audiences have already been built and are being actively engaged by somebody else who has to put in the money, resources, and time to do that? All right. I'm talking about traditional media. So we're talking TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, and online properties like entrepreneur.com, inc.com, Having to Post, Thrive, etc., etc. And think about that. When you get them to turn to you for your expertise, not only are you hacking the audience, but you're also building a massive amount of social proof all in the same step. And it doesn't cost you any advertising dollars, right? This is earned media because when these high trust, sort of highly trafficked spaces or outlets turn to you for your expertise on your subject, automatically you are elevated to the status of expert. So again, if you're a new player in your niche, this is a fantastic way to outdo a whole bunch of other more established players who may have more credentials and this and that and the other, you can outdo them very, very quickly by building massive credibility and social proof using some of the messaging strategies that we've already discussed around outcomes and results, etc. All right. So I just want you to know that this, not only does this work for traditional media outlets like the ones we have on your screen, TV, radio, print, web, all that jazz, but it works with new media like podcasts and blogs and YouTube shows and more. And it works with live stages because it's the exact same thing, right? Somebody else has built that audience. And if you know how to structure it right, your talk can give an audience a ton of value and leave them begging to take a piece of you home with them. And this is, guys, if you've ever beaten yourself up because you don't have a book or you have a bunch of books, you decide. I have a question for you. You decide. Do you want the piece that your audience takes home with them to be a $25 book or a $15,000 coaching or consulting package? Look, it's your choice. What do you want them to take home? And what will give them the most massive transformation? You tell me. Right? So to sum up, let somebody else pay to build and nurture the audience. You show up, inform, entertain, educate, and enroll them without ever being overly salesy or promotional. And this is important because God knows audiences can smell that a mile away, and that does not work, especially these days, does not work. So you need to have a proper structure and system that's going to work so that people will want to take you home with them, because if they don't want to, they ain't gonna. Got it? So you get to capitalize on traffic that somebody else is paying to drive. You get shared by somebody else's social team, right? Every audience that you hack, they're already building that audience. Now they have a vested interest in promoting you. So instead of blogging to the sound of crickets on your own website, where you have maybe 300 readers, 100 of which are your family and friends, now you get in front of 60 million readers per month, and you give them content that isn't your best stuff for free. Instead, it's content that makes them hungry to get to know you better. And the best part is, if you're in a niche that is either crowded or dominated by a few big players, this is great news. They've gone and done the work, the expensive and time-consuming work, by the way, of educating the market that you are now going to sell to. Because no matter how big and successful a player is, there are always gaps in their offering. In fact, the fact that they've become huge and successful makes you the underdog, and everybody loves to support an underdog. So you have a way to structure your story in such a way that you position yourself as different and better than them. Now, and you're going to do this by getting clear about the deepest layers of the transformation that you offer. And that's what's going to allow you to effortlessly stand out from the competition and even charge a higher price than they do. Doesn't matter if they're more established, doesn't matter if they have a huge marketing budget, none of that matters, because you will be building your business up around what your client really wants. Not what they say they want, not what everybody else is selling, and not some look at me in front of a private jet guru story crap like that. If you want to compete on the lower end and sell low ticket, sure, go ahead and do that. But if you want to be in the premium space, you're going to have a completely different strategy, because you're selling results and you're doing it in a way that, as we discussed, puts the client first. And here's another thing that you want to know about the press. You've heard of the Oprah effect, right? It's where a company basically blows up overnight because she features them on her show. Now, the Oprah show no longer exists. But the good news is that in today's world, because of the way the media has shifted and concentrated around niche interests, you can get similar results from very small shows that have very actively engaged followings, like podcasts and online-only publications like Thrive or mommy blogs and so on and so forth. And when you have a high-ticket selling system in place, here's a taste of what you might experience. So this is Scott Oldford, who has used PR very effectively. He's one of our clients. You want some real ROI numbers? We made $93,000 in 1 week after we got on John Lee Dumas's podcast. Stephen Kuhn did the exact same thing. And we closed a $100,000 client within 3 hours of sending out an email to our list when I got featured on entrepreneur.com. So yeah, it's been huge for us. This is these are Scott Oldford's words, the ability to have PR and then use it to cement one's true authority is something that cannot be underestimated. So that's the credibility piece, which when backed up by a selling system, that's what creates that exponential growth. I won't be surprised if folks make back 100x in terms of return on investment in the first 12 months. Well, Stephen is well on his way to his first $1 million, and you could be too. You just have to shift the way you think about your business. So let me repeat myself. You do not have to pay a PR agency or wait to build an audience from scratch. Not when you can use a series of templates and our distilled system that we have, because I co-teach it with the guy who owns the Guinness World Record for the most amount of media ever done. We actually have his exact system, and it takes less than 2 hours per month to use this. And you can land yourself exposure on outlets like New York Times, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur on Fire, BBC, CBC, you name it, we've done it. And then you're going to create the kind of content where you're not giving away your best stuff for free. Instead, you are stoking the appetite of your ideal clients so that they sign up for a call with you already pre-sold on your premium offer. Look, you can take the complicated route, but unless you're a marketer, chances are that the exciting part of your business isn't the marketing, right? It isn't the funnel building, the content you have to churn out for creating things that somebody buys for $7 after lurking on your list for 2 years, right? Is that what you want? So if you're fed up because you're spending 80% of your time marketing and just 20% of your time serving your ideal clients, I highly recommend that you get good at the basics, the clarity first, and then the storytelling that comes from that clarity that brings in the clients who are committed to results. And then when you have the right systems in place so that when those clients come in, you know exactly how to close them predictably and consistently and give them amazing value and results, that's when you have a business that's going to take off like a rocket. All right? Okay, so I just want to be clear. All human beings buy with emotion. No matter what you think, human beings like to think that we make very intellectual decisions, but frankly, we're all emotional creatures. So if you don't have a formula for communicating the outcomes that you create in a way that triggers emotion, you are always going to struggle in your business. Doesn't matter what marketing platform you use or what strategy you use. This is the basic component that is, you can future-proof your business if you figure this out. Once you figure out how to tell these stories and at the same time learn how to get in front of large audiences overnight, that's when exponential growth happens. So to recap real quick, get your pencil out. First, you want to clarify both your mindset. You want to surface and dispel those limiting beliefs. Take that energy and put it to work with good strategy. And that's your messaging, where you start telling the right kinds of stories. Then you want to simplify and create a premium, high ticket, high touch, high leverage offer that is designed for those committed to outcomes and not stuff. All right. You're going to use your newly clarified messaging to create sales scripts that really convert. And finally, only when you have these two pieces in place, that's when you amplify. That's when you go to the step that everybody starts with, right? You amplify, you get in front of active audiences and share content that acts as a dog whistle to your ideal clients. And this piece is really important because let me tell you, this next shift, this next epiphany that I'm about to share with you, if you don't have it, amplify is going to be a huge problem for you, because the last thing in the world you'll want is to get in front of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of your ideal prospects if you feel like you're an imposter, if you feel like you're a little bit out of integrity because you haven't figured out some of these pieces for yourself, or you feel like if you're big and shiny, you're not going to, all those subconscious beliefs. You know why I discussed that as epiphany number one? Because this is where most people fall down and self-sabotage and get stuck. Now, it's no coincidence I've been on hundreds of epiphany calls, and there is always an element of echo there. We teach what we most seek to master, right? We're all teaching what we have sort of struggled with and been through. And so if you don't deepen your integrity, you're going to run into resistance. And I'm going to show you how that works out. So everything you know and have done so far has led you to the business that you're in. Agreed, right? We take responsibility. This is not about blame. This is about taking responsibility and saying that, yes, we really are in control. So if you're currently struggling to make $10,000 or $20,000 a month and you're looking to scale to $100,000, you know that you can't possibly work 10x as hard, right? Because you're already tapped out. You're going to have to learn a completely new way of designing, thinking about, and running your business. And the reason that I'm in a position to teach you this material is because I have invested heavily in my own progress and success. I've invested well over 6 figures in training, and each time, believe me, it has been a big decision. There is fear involved, there is resistance. But it was the only way to get from having a dream for a business, having something up on a vision board somewhere, to actually retiring my husband from his job, building a team, and running a 6-figure-a-month business. Okay, I'm a huge believer in congruence. The person who sells coaching or consulting but refuses to invest in coaching or consulting usually doesn't build a thriving business because they're out of integrity. And I'll tell you something, clients sense that, and it doesn't work. You have to show up and lead by example. And also, chances are the very thing that you're struggling with in your business is closely tied. That echo I talked about is closely tied to what you teach your clients. Now, sometimes it's blindingly obvious. Like we'll work with business coaches who are business coaches, right? They're teaching other people how to tweak their messaging and run their business and install systems and so on and so forth. And they themselves are struggling with those exact things because it is very, very difficult to do some of the stuff for themselves. It is almost impossible. It's like giving yourself a back massage. It's really difficult because you're working in your blind spot. And yet, none of these people, or some of these people, don't give themselves permission to get their own coach. So think about this. You don't give yourself permission to get your own coach because it's too expensive, it's not the right time, it's blah, 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 whatever your reasons are. You're going to talk to a prospect and they're going to give you those exact same reasons. What are you going to do to overcome those objections? You tell me. If you are out of integrity because you are trying to get them to do something that you yourself won't do, it ain't never gonna work. And what do you think that does to your confidence? How will you ever have the courage to charge a premium for what you do if deep down you know that you're unable to do it for yourself? People pick up this lack of alignment on a subconscious level and they won't buy from you. And it's funny because sometimes it's blindingly obvious because those two pieces are exactly the same piece, right? Like I'm a business coach, my business is not thriving, therefore I can't help other people thrive. Sometimes it's as obvious as that. But sometimes it's a little bit more nuanced. So we've worked with dating and love coaches who, they need help building their business side of things. They're great at the love and dating stuff. But they'll come to a call saying, well, I've been burnt in the past and I've been let down by coaches who promised me the moon and blah, 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 didn't show up. And I'm like, you don't see the echo of that in what your own clients face, where it's like, I've gone and dated frogs and they broke my heart and now I just don't want to show up on dates anymore. There's always an echo. There's always wheels within wheels and circles within circles. And that's why we work with people on both a subconscious level as well as a conscious level, because both those two things have to be aligned, right? So I beg you, please, whoever you choose to work with, find somebody who isn't just going to slap what's worked for them onto you without first taking the time to examine your deepest hidden subconscious blocks, right? Find somebody who has the expertise and tools to work with you, not just on a conscious strategic level, but also on a subconscious level. Because without getting your subconscious on board, you will always feel split and overwhelmed and not enough. And if you're feeling any of those things, I just want you to know it doesn't have to be this way. There really is a way to feel lit up and at ease and to make a lot more money and a lot more impact than you're currently making. You just have to do it right. You have to get these pieces aligned. And if you're making the leap from 10K a month with struggle to 100K a month with ease, I got to tell you, the biggest thing you have to change is yourself. And what you want, I truly believe this, is right in front of you. It is right in front of you. There is some reason that you're unable to perceive it. And that is one of the crucial elements that you need help with. This isn't a conscious issue, so I'm not blaming you here. You're not doing it on purpose. I truly believe that. Consciously, you're doing the absolute most that you can think of. You're working as hard as you can. Your list is never ending. You're always, always, always hustling and striving. This is a subconscious issue. And that's why strategizing it a way is not going to work. And I have a concrete example. So I'll give you another case study of exactly how we found this to happen and play out in real life. So this is Jen Burson. She runs a 7-figure PR agency out of her home in California, very successful at that. She's brilliant at what she does. About 2.5, 3 years ago, she decided she wanted to teach entrepreneurs how to do their own PR. So she went from her offline consulting PR firm to she wanted to make money and create quote unquote passive income, right? That's the dream for everybody when they get into the online space. She wanted to create an online course. So she launched an online program called Press Success to do just that. After spending tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, on courses, on high-end coaches, not to mention literally years of her life, she realized she was stuck. Okay, 2.5 years she spent doing this. Nothing was working, despite the fact that she had done everything right. And she had a program that was actually brilliant. All right. Jen quickly realized that her real purpose was less around helping entrepreneurs do their own PR and more around helping fellow PR professionals launch, run, and scale 6- and 7-figure agencies. Talk about something that was right under her nose. She had been doing free mentorship and all that jazz around this topic for years, but she hadn't seen it until we helped her release those blocks. Using our messaging methodology and selling system, Jen made $50,000 in sales before creating a single module, not a single minute of her program. So imagine she went from having built everything and spending tens of thousands of dollars on creating the program first and then hoping people would come to now making $50K like that in less than 6 weeks with ease. Because it was right in front of her, we removed her subconscious blocks and we gave her a system. So instead of doing all this mentorship and picking brain and all that jazz for free, now she had a way to turn it into money and this was a program that was more expensive or more of an investment than her previous program that she struggled to sell. And it was easy for her to sell it. So let me give you the equation here and you want to write this down. Clarity plus systems equals a sustainable, consistent, predictable business. Clarity plus system. You cannot skimp on any of these. And you want to make sure that that clarity comes from a place where your subconscious and your conscious are aligned. So to sum up, invest in mentorship. If you're committed to your success, if you're not going to be one of those people where like, yeah, it's not really that bad right now. Well, I have another 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years to dabble in this and try a bunch of things and see what sticks. If you're determined to making 20K, 50K, or even 150 or 250K per month, you're going to have to learn a whole new way of being. You cannot 150x what you're doing right now. That's not how it works. You'll want to find the best mentor out there to teach you how to do it. Somebody whose values line up with your own, and then you pay them whatever is necessary to help you make the leap. Okay, and make sure that you get support on both a subconscious and a conscious level, because one is just not going to cut it. Okay. Just mindset doesn't help you because your mindset is great, but what is the strategies? Like you've got all this energy now that's been liberated, but what the heck are you actually supposed to do? And having just the strategy doesn't help because if your mindset is blocking you, well, that ain't going to work either. Now, let me tell you, is it scary? You betcha. But nobody makes the leap from 5 to 10K per month to 100K without fear and without some expert guidance. Now today, I promised you that I would teach you, and you would rather, learn to identify the real reasons that you're stuck and why the next course or social platform isn't going to fix it. You learned how to finally fix the disconnect between your marketing and what your ideal clients are willing to pay for. You learned what our most successful clients are doing. That's helping them scale their businesses to 6 figures a month and turning their clients into raving fans by discovering what's right in front of them and having systems to make it easy so they work less than you probably are. You have learned how to create a steady stream of these high-paying clients without having to spend hours on social media and podcasting and blogging and building the audience yourself because you're now going to hack into other people's audiences. You have already learned how to use your competition's superpowers against them because they've gone and built the audience and built the need for what you sell. And now you're going to go in with a system to harvest that. And you've learned how to build massive credibility overnight by tapping into the power of the press. Here's what you need to win. Super simple. A success mindset, take these notes, clarity in your messaging, an offer that is high ticket, high touch, and high leverage, right? Not one-on-one. This is something that you can absolutely scale. PR strategies that are going to get you in front of millions of your ideal prospects, and a mentor who can help you see what's right in front of you and then give you a system to turn your gifts into consistent, sustainable profits. All right? So you've come to this point. You've listened for this long. Now you have a choice. You can take what I've taught you and you can just walk away from this masterclass and not actually do anything with the information I've given you, right? You've probably taken copious notes, at least I hope you have, but these notes will end up where all your other notes have always ended up, in some notebook somewhere, who knows where, never actually turned into practice, because knowledge up in your head makes no difference in your life. If it's not in your day-to-day practice, it is not going to change anything for your life. You can keep working like a dog for those ridiculous $27 and $197 and $497 sales that work just enough so you're paying the bills, but not so you're living the dream. You can go back to spending 80% of your time marketing your business and only 20% of your time actually serving the clients and doing the work that you love. You can keep struggling to build an audience on social, pumping out free content, your best stuff that you're creating during hour after unpaid hour, knowing that you're actually scratching their itch. So now they have even less of a reason to buy from you and your ideal clients are being repelled. You can keep struggling to find the right fit clients only to have them object to your prices because you haven't done a good job of communicating the true value of what it is you do and what makes you different from everybody else in your space. You can keep getting in your own way and unconsciously sabotaging everything that you're working so hard to create because you've got a bunch of limiting beliefs keeping you stuck. Look, you can keep hustling and burning yourself out. You can keep going to conferences and networking events where you either feel like a total fraud because you're trying to pretend to be somebody more successful than you are, or you deal with the embarrassment. If you've ever heard this, you'd be like, how can somebody as smart and as accomplished and as experienced as you not be making $1 million, right? And there's a sort of drag that goes with that as well. And we've heard, our clients have told us this story over and over and over, right? You've got everything going for you on paper, and yet you just can't figure out how to turn that into a thriving, abundant, easy business. You can finally get the clarity you need to fight shiny object syndrome and show up in a powerful way for yourself, for your family, and for those you serve, which means you start to effortlessly attract the kind of clients who are excited by the outcomes you create and are willing and happy. They will cry and thank you when they give you their credit card information, happy to pay premium prices to work with you. You can spend 80% of your time now doing the things you love, serving your ideal clients, the ones who value you and are coachable and committed to their own success. You will have the budget to hire experts and a team and great systems to give your clients a VIP experience and make sure that you're not stuck working outside your zone of genius. You'll have to do some marketing, but it will be a system that is proven and distilled. So it is literally a fraction of what you're doing right now, but it is more effective because you're not filling up their bellies. You're actually teaching them in a way that makes them hungry. The right clients will be hungry to work with you. It's like a dog whistle to them. And so I just want you to do a simple exercise right now. If you've got your pencil out, do it right now. Think of your most audacious monthly income goal, right? If you were to wake up with your hair on fire, you'd be like, holy moly, I'm making amazing money. This is like the happiest day of my life. I'm making this amazing money. I know I have a system to replicate it consistently month after month. I never have to stress about money again. I'm serving clients that I absolutely love working with. What is that number? Put it down. And now think about it. If you were charging at a premium, so more money than you've ever charged before, or on the very high end of the range of what people in your space charge, how many of those sales, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is that works out to, how many of those sales would you have to make to hit your most audacious income goal? Here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours so we can speak to you personally, customized to you, your business, your topic, and your personality type, how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, believe me, we've seen it and we know how to overcome it. And this is not just on a conscious strategic level, but also on a subconscious level. If those two pieces are out of alignment, you know it, you're always going to struggle. So on this call, it's very simple. We will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to hit your income goals, whether that's 10K a month or 100K or 200K a month. And we're going to show you how it's possible to craft a premium offer, even if you've never done it before, and you're going to get your message out to millions of your ideal clients. Now, for right now, we're offering this absolutely free, but there is a catch. There is a catch. This isn't for everybody. And I just want to be super duper clear and upfront about this, right? Here's who this is for. You must have the expertise and determination to solve a pressing life or business problem. This is not meant for somebody who's selling other people's stuff. Like if you're an MLM or a network marketing person, no disrespect whatsoever, I'm just not the person who's able to help you because I'm not an expert in that business model. I can't help you with that. So you need to be an expert where you have something that you do, a methodology that you teach or that you're an expert on, or a service that you provide that's amazing and that solves a pressing life or business problem. You must be outstanding at what you do. If you suck at what you do and are not interested in upping your game, I can't help you. You must be committed, resourceful, and decisive. These are the people who succeed in life, right? If this is you, book a session right now. Here's a link. These go really, really fast. They fill up super duper fast. And we actually have a wait list some weeks. So get in there and get your session booked right away while you still have a chance. And we have folks available to talk to you. And what's going to happen is really, really simple. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. Spots are extremely limited. Once you hit that link, you are going to be taken to our calendar app. And that's going to translate the time zones and everything so that everything's nicely aligned and you don't have to do any math in your head. And you can just pick a time that works for you. Make sure that you put it in your calendar. So immediately pick a time. It's super simple. And what that's going to do is it's going to book that. It's going to show up on our end with my team's calendar. And it's going to take you to a link where you're going to fill out a really quick little application form. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out. It's super simple, but it is absolutely crucial that you do this work. If you don't fill out that intake form, I am unable to help you. We are unable to help you to the fullest of our abilities because we ask you certain questions to help us get clear about where you're stuck, what patterns we're seeing show up. So in your answers, be as honest as you possibly can. And that's going to show us what your subconscious beliefs might be, what your conscious beliefs are. We're going to see what business you've designed. We're going to look at your business. If you have a website or any marketing materials, we'll go do the research and check it out. Nobody does this work. We do this work. That's why those spots are so limited, is because it's very time consuming to do some of this research. But then when we show up on that call, we are 100% prepared. We know where we're coming. We have a great starting point. We start at a much, much deeper level. So we're not giving you some superficial pap advice. We're going to be going deep into your business. We're going to be asking you a bunch of questions, and we're going to get you and I or my teammates, whoever you're talking to, will get crystal clarity on what your limiting beliefs are, what's keeping you stuck, what are the specific steps that apply to you, what are the actions that you need to take in order to get from wherever it is you're stuck to where you'd like to go, no matter how audacious your income goal is. All right. So this is a proven process. It's so funny. We have crazy results from our program, obviously, where we support our clients, but we get testimonials even for these calls because they're not your typical lame-ass discovery sales call. This is not a sales call. Our intention is not at all to sell you. Our intention is to help you get crystal clarity. Once in a while, what will happen is that there'll be an obvious opportunity for us to move forward and work together, in which case we can explore that if that's something that you'd want to do. But in many cases, that's not actually the case. We never make an offer. We actually recommend or refer you to somebody who is better suited to help you, or we give you action steps to become more ready to then be able to work with us. So it depends on where you're at. We will be 100% honest with you, and we will give you what you need so that you're going to leave that call, no matter what, you're going to leave that call with crystal clarity about what is keeping you stuck and where you need to go next in order to hit your goals. Crappy stories, subconscious blocks, limiting beliefs, they tend to bleed into every aspect of our lives. So if you've got, one or maybe 10 of them running in your subconscious, it will 100% show up in the way that you structure your business, how you set up your pricing, how you react when somebody objects to your offer, what you put in your follow-up emails, whether you follow up at all. We've seen that happen as well, where people just won't follow up, and so much more. And this is not hocus pocus. This isn't just like woo stuff. Here are some concrete examples of how this whole subconscious thing shows up in your business and life. Do not miss an opportunity to get expert help on your business, on your specific blocks, on your specific business. So here's a concrete example of how this might show up. And maybe this is happening to you. If you're subconsciously worried about attracting haters, right? Think about this. We're gonna give you the most insane world record holding system or process for how to get massive amounts of press with no PR agency required. But if you are subconsciously worried about attracting haters, if you raise your price or get really highly visible, then you're not exactly going to be wildly energized to create an amazing 6 to 8 week group program that's worth thousands of dollars, right? And then what's going to happen? You're going to speak to prospects who tell you it's too expensive. You're going to just back off. You're going to get rejected by the first producer. You're going to back off. You're never going to follow up. I could give you a complete media list and the exact methodology that my co-coach in the media side used to win a Guinness World Record, and it won't work for you because deep down, it doesn't feel safe. Does that make sense? So if you've tried a bunch of courses or programs and not seen the results that you were hoping for, this is exactly why. Nobody was helping you not just examine, but rewrite those subconscious programs and limiting beliefs. And this is exactly the kind of clarity that we can get you on this epiphany session. So book yours now. It's nothing short of life-changing, okay? There's nothing subtle. I just want to warn you, there is nothing subtle about the shift that you'll experience. If you were given a gift by God or the universe or spirit or whoever you choose to believe in, it means that you have what you want. It is actually looking for you with more energy than you're looking for it. It is right in front of you. It wants you. It is attracted to you. If you are unable to see it, it is because you are standing in your own way. And without fixing this, no amount of strategy will ever fix your business. Even if you make money, you will still feel stuck feeling all the feelings that you're currently troubled by. Does that make sense? And that's why you see people sometimes who make a lot of money but are fundamentally unhappy. So if you don't want to turn into one of them, if the whole purpose of you creating an abundant business is to feel free and to feel light and to feel, awake and awakened, then again, you have to start at a subconscious level and then build the strategies on top of that instead of the other way around. And we have, like you've seen, some of the most incredible client testimonials for what we do. And the reason for that, again, is because instead of slapping some strategy or some system onto your personality, onto your business, what we do is we really look at who you are, what you want. And then we help you use our systems to get you there. So it always feels deeply in integrity for you. You never have to step out of integrity. In fact, you have to, the whole invitation is for you to be more you than you've ever given yourself permission to be in the past. Again, I'm sorry if the slots are already gone. I'm really sorry. They do go out really, really quickly. We are inviting a bunch of people and we only have, a few slots any given week. If you find that they're gone already, please put yourself on the wait list and we will notify you the second something opens up. And I just want to say, if you don't fill out the form, the application form that goes after you book your session, then we will in fact cancel your appointment and give it to somebody else, because as you can see, our demand far outweighs what we're able to show up and supply. So make sure that if you get your session, that you fill out that intake form and help us serve you more fully, because we can't help you if you don't play honestly and you don't play fully, right? We can't help you rewrite a subconscious belief if you're not actually putting the belief on the table. Thank you so much for spending time with me. We've gone a little bit over time, but I'm super grateful that you've been here, and I look forward to hopefully, maybe you and I will get a chance to connect in person on an epiphany session. Maybe you'll speak to somebody else on my team, but no matter what, I am so excited that you're here, because the fact that you're here means you're ready for this next chapter of your life to begin. You don't have to feel the way that you've been feeling all this time. You're ready for this new abundant chapter to begin. And I'm so excited to be part of this journey. We'll talk soon.